What's going on, guys? PlotArmorCards in the house, and today I'm coming to you with my Gunkan Suship deck build. So before we get started, if you like what you see, please like, comment, and subscribe. And now, let's get started. So first, for my monsters, you have to play in this deck. You have to play 3 copies of Gunkan Suship Shari. Now, I know it looks like it has a gigantic effect. It is actually a normal monster. That's just a description. So this is the monster that you need to pop off all your combos in this deck. So you're going to play 3 of these. Next, I like to play 3 copies of Gunkan Suship Shiaro. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And Gunkan Suship Shiaro, its effect is, if you control a Gunkan Suship Shari or an XYZ monster that has Gunkan Suship Shari as material, you can special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 Gunkan monster from your hand except Gunkan Suship Shiaro. Then you can take any number of Gunkan Suship Shari from your deck or graveyard, place them on top of your deck in any order. You can use each effective Gunkan Suship Shiaro once per turn. Now, this is really good because not only is it really easy to summon, so I can summon this and then I can special summon this, but it allows me an additional special summon, and then if this is in the graveyard, I can recycle it. So, really, really good effect. Next, I also like to play 3 copies of Gunkan Suship Ikura. And now, Gunkan Suship Ikura is pretty good as well. Its effect is, if you control a Gunkan Suship Shari, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon 1 Gunkan Suship Ikura once per turn. So, if I have a Gunkan Suship Shari on the field, I can essentially get a bunch of special summons off, because all these effects allow me to special summon. During your main phase, you can excavate the top 3 cards from your deck, and if you do, you can add either add to your hand or special summon 1 excavated Gunkan Suship Shari. You can also shuffle the rest into your deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. So it's pretty dope. Let's say I have this on the field and I have 1 more of these in the graveyard. I can special summon this, and then I can also special summon this. And once all 3 of these are on the field, I can use this to take the version of Gunkan Suship Shari that's in the graveyard, put it on top of my deck, and then I can use this thing's effect to immediately add it to my hand. So it's pretty dope. Next, I also like to play 3 copies of Gunkan Suship Uni. Gunkan Suship Uni has multiple effects, actually. So you can reveal 1 other Gunkan card in your hand, special summon this card from your hand, then apply the following effect based on the revealed card. Gunkan Suship Shari, you can special summon the revealed monster, so that's what you want. So you have Gunkan Suship Shari in your hand, you'll get another special summon off. And if it's something else, you can place the revealed card on the bottom of the deck. So that is what you kind of want to avoid, because you want as many cards in your hand as possible, right? You want to special summon as much as possible. So what you want to do is you want to have a Shari in your hand, and so you can pop off your combos, which works earlier with the other combo that we were discussing. You can target 1 Gunkan monster you control, change its level to 4 or 5, then you can add 1 Gunkan Suship Shari from your deck to your hand. That's really dope. It searches the vanilla monster that we need, adds it straight to the hand, and then you'll see that changing a monster's level to 5 is actually really, really good for this deck as well. Next, I like to play 2 copies of Goblinberg. Goblinberg is really dope because if you normal summon it, you can special summon another level 4, which will pop off a lot of different combos. I also like to play 2 copies of Rescue Rabbit. Self-explanatory, destroys itself to summon 2 vanilla monsters. That's really good for this deck. You can get 2 Sharis out at the same time. I also like to play 2 copies of Gluttonous Riffingrethus. Hopefully I'm saying his name correctly. I like it because it's a tuner, so I have the possibility of summoning Synchro Monsters in this deck. It's not too reliable summoning Synchro Monsters, so I don't have too many, but its effect also works really well with my monsters. So you can target 1 fish, sea serpent, and aqua monster in your graveyard. Now, I know these are all fire monsters, but these are actually aqua fires, so this actually works. Aqua fires, that's a different name. Yeah, so its effect is in your graveyard with an equal lower level than the number of cards your opponent has in your hand. The problem is there that your opponent has to have a certain number of cards in their hand, right? And a lot of times I've had in my experience, they won't have 4. Sometimes they'll have less, you know, so you got to work your way around that. But I've also had situations where my opponent has had 4 and it works perfectly fine, and I end up winning because of it. So it's a nice trade-off. I also like to play 2 copies of Swift Scarecrow. It's a decent hand trap. It stops my opponent from attacking directly, so it's not bad. Next up for the spells, I like to play 3 copies of the field spell Gunkan Shipyard Seaside Supper Spot. Now, this card's effect is once per turn, if you normally special summon a Gunkan monster, even during the damage step, you can place one Gunkan card from your deck to the top of your deck. So it's a pretty easy way to search your Gunkan Suship Shari, put it in the top of your deck, and then you can use other combos to just get it out. Once per turn, if a face-up Gunkan monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, activate this effect. Your opponent pays life points equal to that monster's defense in the graveyard, then you can apply this effect. Now that first part where your opponent takes damage equal to the monster's defense, most of the monsters don't have that high of defense. So it's not, that part is not too good. But this part right here, you can special summon one Gunkan Suship Shari from your hand, then special summon one Gunkan XYZ monster from your extra deck by using that card you control as material. This is treated as an XYZ summon. So this is really dope because you get an XYZ summon off, and also most of the XYZ monsters for this archetype, they let you draw another card if you use Gunkan Suship Shari as material. So it's pretty good. This deck, I feel like has a lot of draw power. You can pretty much get to what you need and how you need it, and it has really good recycling power as well. And then for the field spells, I like to play one copy of Terraforming. I also like to play 3 copies of Unexpected Die, just to special summon my Shari from my deck. I have so many just because I want to be able to draw it, So it's very, very easy way to do it. I also play 2 copies of Painful Decision. Its effect is you can send one level 4 lower monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do that, you can add 1 card with the same name from your deck to your hand. So that's good for just getting Shari in your hand. And if it's in your graveyard, it's pretty easy to recycle, so it's not too much of a drawback there. Next, I like to play 3 copies of Piercing the Darkness. Now, Piercing the Darkness is really, really dope in this deck. Its effect is, if you special summon a non-token normal monster, except during your damage step, you can draw 1 card. So I always get to draw an extra card. And then secondly, when an attack is declared involving an opponent's monster and a monster you control that is level 5 or higher normal monster, or that was ritual summoned using a normal monster, or was fusion summoned, synchro summoned, or XYZ summoned using a normal monster, you can make that monster you control gain attack equal to that opponent's monster's attack until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Piercing Darkness once per turn. So that's really, really dope, because it pretty much guarantees that the somewhat weaker Gunkan Suship monsters, because they all have 2200 attack, the XYZ monsters, I think. There's one that has a little bit higher, but it guarantees that they're going to go over. So even if my opponent's monster declares an attack, it guarantees that my monsters go over. And lastly, for the spell cards, I like to play 1 copy of Monster Reborn. For the trap cards now, I like to play 3 copies of Gunkan Suship Daily Special. This card is pretty dope as well. It has a great recycling effect. So its effect is, you activate this card, you can also reveal 1 Gunkan Suship Shari in your hand. Reveal 3 Gunkan monsters from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 of them to add to your hand. That's really dope because you can search whatever, but look at the second part. Also, shuffle the rest into your deck. If you revealed Gunkan Suship Shari in your hand at activation, you can choose the card to add to your hand. So you pretty much can just choose whatever you want. Instead of your opponent choosing. If this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish this card, target 3 Gunkan monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. So, gives you draw power. You can shuffle your Sharis back into your deck, and you can keep on popping off your combos. So, that's pretty dope as well. I also like to play 3 copies of Back to the Front. That just allows me to summon my Sharis out. Not to mention, it also works really well with Piercing the Darkness. If I summon a Shari out, Piercing Darkness will let me draw. So, not bad, right? Next, I like to play 2 copies of Mirror Force. Nobody expects this anymore. Nobody ever expects Mirror Force. So, it's turning into something that, is winning me games, because everyone's expecting hand traps. And so whenever I use a Mirror Force, it usually works, because no one's ever expecting it anymore. But I can completely understand if you want to run Ash Blossoms or you want to run some other hand trap in this place. I would definitely recommend, if you wanted to switch a certain card out, it would probably be this one if you don't want to run a Mirror Force. Lastly, we have the extra deck monsters. I like to run 2 copies of Gunkan Suship Uni-Class Super Dreadnought. Hopefully I'm saying its name correctly. Its effect is, it takes 2 level 5 monsters, so that's why the effect of that 1 card, let me find it so I can show you guys. Gunkan Suship Uni, its effect lets me level manipulate and to get out, to make any monster level 5. So it's very easy to just level manipulate and pull this out. And so its effect is, it takes 2 level 5 monsters. If this card is XYZ summoned, you can apply these effects in sequence based on the materials used. You can only use each effect once per turn. So if Gunkan Suship Shari is used, I can draw 1 card. And then if Gunkan Suship Uni is used, this card gains the ability to attack directly. That's really good. Once per turn during your main phase, during the main phase or your opponent's battle phase, quick effect, you can target 1 face-up card your opponent controls up to the number of Gunkan monsters you control special summon from the extra deck, negate their effects. So this card is a must-have in this deck. Not only can you attack directly, but you can also negate effects. So you want to make sure you have this in there. Next, I like to play 2 copies of Gunkan Suship Ikara class Dreadnought. Second names, guys. But its effect is, it takes 2 level 4 monsters, and if this card is XYZ summoned, you can apply these effects in sequence based on the materials used. So Gunkan Suship Shari, you get to draw a card, so this deck has really good draw power. And secondly, Gunkan Suship Ikara, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. Once per turn, when your Gunkan monster special summon from the extra deck inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. So not bad at all. Next, I like to play 2 copies of Gunkan Suship Shiaru class Dreadnought. It's class carrier. Oh, didn't have Dreadnought on it. So that first effect is the same, where you can apply the effects based on what's on it. So Gunkan Suship Shari, draw a card. Gunkan Suship Shiaru, you can add a Gunkan spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is pretty dope. Well, this card is face up in a field zone. Gunkan's monster you control special summon from the extra deck cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects and gains attack equal to the original defense. So they gain a little bit extra attack. They don't have too much extra defense, but it works, and it also works really well with Piercing the Darkness because it gives them even more attack. Next are my 1-ups in the extra deck. My 1-up XYZ monsters, I like to play 1 copy of Time Thief Redoer, 1 copy of Tornado Dragon, 1 copy of Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon, 1 copy of number 41, 1 copy of Steel Swarm Roach, and 1 copy of number 101. Next are my Synchro Monsters. I like to play 3 of these. I like to play 1 copy of Clearwing. This is just for negate purposes. 1 copy of Black Rose Dragon, just to bomb everything on the field, just get rid of everything on the field. And then after that, I can still pop off combos and bring my cards back if I have to. So it's not a bad combo. And then lastly, I play 1 copy of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. So guys, that was it for my Gunkan Suship deck build. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. And oh my goodness, look at the time.
It's time to do